And we begin the newscast with some breaking news coming in from Jammu and Kashmir. Reports are coming in of an ISIS terrorist being killed in an encounter in Shopia district of South Kashmir. The terrorist was killed after a brief exchange of firing that took place between terrorists and security forces in Amishpora area of Shopia in South Kashmir during early dawn. Now, the slain terrorist's body has also been recovered from the spot. He has been identified as Ishfaq Sofi, the commander of Islamic State of Jammu and Kashmir. He hailed from North Kashmir's Sopore area. One rifle and ammunition was also recovered from the terrorist. And for more details on this news story, and also joined in by our correspondent Eshan Vani, who's joining us with more on this news story on the phone line. Let's quickly go across to Eshan. Eshan, what is it that we know about Sofi? This indeed is a victorious moment for the forces in Jammu and Kashmir, if reports are to be believed, and that he has been the ISIS commander in J&K.
Well, absolutely right. After an encounter in North South Kashmir, only the 5 or 6 people of Islamic State J&K were killed, and from that day there haven't been any much activities from the ISJK in the Kashmir Valley. And Sofi was one of those important people who were operating in North South Kashmir, where ISJK is instrumental. And that is where there was a brief exchange of gunfire in the morning, and which later resulted in the killing of Ishfaq Sofi, who hails from North Kashmir Sopore. Although he had switched from Harkatul Mujahideen, pro-Pakistan group, to the Islamic State of Jammu and Kashmir, there has been some sort of rift between between Islamic State J&K and the pro-Pakistan outfits who are operating on the ground in the Kashmir Valley, and that has made it difficult for the ISJK to survive in the Kashmir Valley. At the same time, they haven't been really involved in the big attacks, or they have been, there have been no leadership for them in the Kashmir Valley. But Ishfaq's killing will give some relief for the security forces, because he was associated with the Islamic State J&K, and his interview was carried out by a pro-ISIS magazine, a propaganda magazine of the Islamic State J&K, wherein he, lashed out at the pro-Pakistan groups in the Kashmir Valley. So it's a game where pro-Pakistan military outfits are with war with the Islamic State J&K in the Kashmir Valley. At the same time, security forces have gone ahead and launched these operations against any militant outfit that's prevailing on the Jammu and Kashmir. Now, Ishfaq was one of those people who was involved in certain attacks and was instrumental in South Kashmir. What we know so far is the security forces have taken the body and the ammunition from the particular spot. It was a brief exchange of gunfire between the militants and the security forces, which later resulted in the killing of Sofi.
Right. Also, Eshan, what has happened today in Kashmir and, Sofi's encounter today in Kashmir also goes on to say how ISIS is also making inroads into Jammu and Kashmir now.
Well, absolutely right. Since few years, Islamic State J&K announced that, it's self-proclaimed group in Kashmir now that they are paying allegiance to the Islamic State J&K. And since then, there was a denial from the security agencies that such group existed. But the reality on the ground is that Islamic State J&K exists in certain pockets of the Kashmir Valley, although they haven't been gathering any support from the ground zero by the people or by the other groups, because they're the ones who are against Pakistan, who are the ones who are against certain things in the Kashmir Valley. So that is where they try to make and establish a base in the Kashmir Valley, but couldn't. And that's why you're seeing that their top leader has been eliminated today. And what we learn from our sources is that there are only few people left for the ISJK in the Kashmir Valley. But it's something which has been concerning for the people in Kashmir particularly, because they haven't been really supportive of such ideology. Right. And that is where, ISJK hasn't been able to make a big foot in the Kashmir Valley, and you haven't heard the ISJK name in big attacks in the Kashmir Valley. But this particular encounter is a success for the security forces from their point of view. And now they will try to, make sure that there are no law and order.
Very rightly said, Eshan. This is a moment of success for the forces in Kashmir Valley, even though this is an alarming situation now that ISIS has been making inroads into South Asia, taking into consideration what happened recently in Sri Lanka. Also, it is deeply an alarming situation. Thank you so much, Eshan, for bringing us all the latest.